Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined by the one, the only Miss Cynthia Bailey.
Hello. Hi, you guys.
What is going on today, Cynthia? How are you? Where are you? What's going on?
Okay. How am I? I'm amazing. Where am I? I'm in Los Angeles, California. I'm actually in my daughter's apartment right now, hanging out with her. I just finished doing pop, and now I'm doing this with you, and then I'm headed to meet some friends for lunch at Soho House after this.
You are busy, Cynthia. You are living the life. I want to talk all about E-pop in a few minutes. I've got a lot to say. But before we get there, Ultimate Girls Trip, it is here.
Yes.
It is moving on. The fans have spoken. People love this show. So when you get a call, to go to Turks and Caicos for an all expenses paid trip with a bunch of women, like, what is your initial reaction? Like, were you initially excited?
My initial reaction was, what time is the plane leave? Yes, all in. I was like super excited to get the call. I was really, really even more excited to be a part of the first girls trip. So that was, pretty cool to, be a part of kicking it off for everyone else that is coming behind us now. So it was good. And I think this is something the fans have wanted forever, even not even just the fans, like even, the housewives. We've wanted this forever. We've always wanted to know, we've always been curious to know what it would be like if we mixed it up and it was different housewives from different franchises. So, this is, thank you, Peacock, and thank you, Bravo.
Well, it's like you say, we all talk about these OGs and there's so much, conversation about that. Teresa lovelyly pointed out that Melissa's not an OG, but when we go back to specifically Girls Trip and we talk about OG, Cynthia, you are an OG of Girls Trip forever, to your point.
Listen, it's like, it's interesting what people define as an OG. Is an OG someone who did one season, but was at the beginning of the franchise, the start of it? Or is an OG someone who has stood the test of time, like 11 long years like I did? I'm just saying, I think it's more, how long you were able to consistently be on a show as a consistent peach holder, never going back and forth as a friend, like holding that piece of fruit, diamond, or whatever it is you're holding, from whatever franchise, consistently straight for over a decade. That's OG.
I agree. I was just going to say 11 years ain't just a fluke and you just fall off the turnip truck and you get lucky. I mean, that's some of our classic housewives are like 5 years. So like 11 is really.
Yeah. I feel like I should get some kind of award, like honestly, and to be able to do it with, integrity and grace and still have a brand intact and actually enjoy it, like be able to look back on it with, fun memories, you know what I'm saying? And be able to parlay that opportunity into a whole nother career. That's when you really win.
Well,
it doesn't always work out that way.
I've said this, listen, I've had Mike Hill here twice. I've said to him both times, and I do say this all the time about you. Was that a conscious decision? Because, and I do want to get into your new career like a little bit later, like you do have this new career because you retained your dignity and your grace. Lots of our housewives, look, the fans call for it. They want you to go to the mat. That's great, but there's no career after. There isn't. I've said it before. Right. You can't go on Access Hollywood and Daily Pop and have a real career. You just can't. It's not going to work. So like, was that a conscious decision or that's just who Cynthia Bailey is?
Well, yeah, it was the only decision because, when you sign up to do a reality show, for me, my only choice was to just be me on the show, whether you loved me, whether you hated me, whether you thought I was the most exciting or the most boring, whatever it is, all I could do was give you Cynthia Bailey. And that's all I did. And I was super transparent. I was super honest. I was vulnerable. I was, amazing. I did dumb stuff. Like I really honestly went through the process and I did it all with complete transparency. And I think people have to respect that. Like, you really want to see what it is. Like, I don't play Cynthia Bailey. I am Cynthia Bailey. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that I do, or nothing that I did on Housewives. I don't drive a car on Housewives that I wouldn't drive in real life. I don't live in a house that I would live in real life. All the places I shopped on Housewives, I shop in real life. There's nothing that I ever did for the show. Everything I did was really things that I would be doing anyway.
And what do you think when you see other housewives, not just from Atlanta, you know, every franchise has people that do live in houses and do drive cars and do wear clothes that they don't really necessarily own?
Well, you know, everyone's different, to each his own. Like, I don't really care what everyone else does. To be honest, I just have to be true to myself, and however, you know, anyone else wants to make it work for them, then hey, if it's working for them, it's working for them.
Did you think when you said you were excited for Turks and Caicos, like how fast could you get there? Did you think you were going on a nice, fun, happy, relaxing girls trip? Like, did you really expect this?
I did. I did. I mean, I figured there would be some drama, but honestly, after coming from Atlanta and Atlanta being number one for so long, and Atlanta's real kind of cutthroat. Like, they don't play over there. So it's like, I always, say, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. If you can make the Atlanta Housewives, you can make it on any housewife show. And I really stand by that, because I think we really go for, well, I don't say myself personally, but a lot of the girls really go for the juggler. Like, that's the show where the mistress is going to show up out of nowhere, or just some crazy, shady situation is going to happen. So I really looked at Turks and Caicos like, well, this is going to be easy. This is actually, out of all the, the free trips that I've been able to be a part of throughout the years as a housewife, I was like, I actually am going to actually enjoy my pina colada and actually see the beach this time. Like, it just felt like I thought it was going to be a real vacation. It was, until it wasn't.
It was until it wasn't, but it started pretty early on the plane with Ramona and Kenya. Like, were you shocked at how quickly it did start?
Well, I thought we would at least get to Turks and Caicos before the drama started. No, so I was a little surprised that it kicked off before we could even take off. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that did surprise me. And, for me, my intentions was always very clear from the start of the trip. So all I wanted to make sure happened before we took off was for me to, give my little cutting the cord session for Kenya. She was leaving her daughter for the first time, and to just be supportive of her in that time. She was going through a lot, divorce, leaving her baby. And, I knew more about what she was really dealing with than any of the other ladies. So I wanted to try to make it easier for her. So anyway.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Did Kenya factor into your decision? Like, like you were excited for a free trip, but like, did she, going into it, just, like you had to spend more time with her, you would have her there, you wouldn't be alone?
Not really. To be honest, they had asked me about it months and months and months on end. So I had already known, that I had wanted to go, and I wasn't sure who I was going to go with. I didn't know who they were talking about at that time, but I knew that I was going to go regardless.
Did you know like who was going to be there once you said yes? Like by the time you were going to the plane, like you knew everyone that was going to be there?
Yeah. By that time we knew who was all on board to go.